Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Animal Tales, and I'm super excited to talk about a really interesting bird. And obviously, from the title, we're talking about owls. I really find owls very fascinating, not only because of their incredible features, because they're very distinctive. You don't really see, most birds kind of look alike, but there's some that really stand out. And owls really stand out because obviously of their distinctive features. And we're about to talk about owls. Most of you are obviously very familiar. Most of you are very familiar with owls. You've probably seen them, heard them, probably read some really nice tales when you were a kid. But for the most part, a lot of people don't know a lot of cool things about owls. And for me, I call owls ninja owls. I really do. Because owls exhibit a couple characters that you find when you study ninjas. And we're going to talk about them in a little bit. But let's dive into a little bit about owls. Now, if you don't know, there are over 200 species of owls all across the world, which means they live in a bunch of different kinds of habitats. So you can find them pretty much everywhere. And they range in size. They're really massive owls like the gray owl, which is really big. And you have smaller owls. Right? Like the elf owl. It's really small. It's almost the size of a sparrow. And some are distinctive even in color, like the snowy owl. And obviously, as the name suggests, specifically lives in really cold areas. And it's physically adapted to those areas, not only in camouflage, because the white color allows it to camouflage, to hide, to adapt. It's able to hunt and sneak up on a lot of things. All across the world, owls share certain traits. Most owls share certain traits. One of them is binocular vision. Most owls have incredible vision, and obviously because of these massive eyes that they all tend to have. Most owls have really long talons, really aggressive talons that they use to grab their prey with. Obviously, they have hooked beaks, kind of like hawks, for a reason. They're able to grab and tear flesh. Primarily, they eat animals, right? So they have to grab and tear. Another distinctive trait that most owls have is they fly silently. And we're going to actually explore this a little further because this is one of those ninja traits that I'm talking about. We're going to talk about that later. So they fly silently, but for the most part, most owls share all these traits, and most owls are nocturnal, which means most owls come out at night for the most part. Most owls are solitary, which means they like staying alone for the most part. But there are exceptions to these rules, right? A few owls that don't necessarily follow those lines. One of them is the northern hawk owl. That's found in North America. It's called the hawk owl as well. And this owl has been able to adapt and is actually able to work at night and during the day. So it can hunt at night or during the day. So it's able to use light and dark. You have another one called the burrowing owl, and as the name suggests, this is an owl that tends to live underground. Now, for the most part, it doesn't necessarily dig these holes itself. Oftentimes, it takes advantage of burrowing squirrels. So these squirrels obviously live underground. So when these burrowing owls, they find these holes, they tend to take them over, sometimes in groups, as you see here. And they obviously band together because safety in numbers, because they're obviously preyed upon by a bunch of things like snakes, coyotes, but they're able to basically stay very vigilant, binocular vision, and for the most part they stay safe, but oftentimes they do end up as prey. So obviously there are exceptions to the rule. Now, a lot of times, especially if you live in places like North America, you'll encounter owls because there's certain owls called barn owls. These owls are very common, especially if you live in a farm. They tend to actually come in and oftentimes nest in barns. So oftentimes if you've seen owls, you'll see them that way. I remember growing up, I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm back in Kenya, and I remember one night coming out, it was really clear, the moon was full and bright, and I saw this figure on our roof, and I couldn't tell exactly what it was. I knew it was a bird, but I couldn't tell what it was. I actually thought that it was an eagle. But when this thing turned, I could see the eyes, and I instantly knew that this was an owl. I just didn't know what kind of owl it was. Turns out, that was actually a milky eagle owl. As the name suggests, this owl tends to resemble an eagle, as you see here. It's really interesting to see that. And I think that's why I got really confused, because from afar, I couldn't necessarily tell, because again, owls have really distinctive features, and it's easy to tell them apart. But obviously I couldn't really tell what this bird was. So to me, it looked like an eagle until I saw it turn and I saw these beady eyes, and I was like, this is definitely an owl. I just didn't know what it was. Turns out it was a milky eagle owl, and they are found in Central and Sub-Saharan Africa. They range and they're massive. These are really, really big owls. They're almost as big as a gray owl. So the giant gray owl, you know, once I found that out, I started really, really digging into. I'm one of those people that I do love animals, and once I see something and it presents this interesting curiosity in me, I tend to really dig deeper, and I started digging into owls, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to talk about owls as one of the first birds on this channel. You know, but we're about to talk about a couple things, a couple superpowers. I call them superpowers. Owls have superpowers in my eyes because they employ a couple things in their arsenal that really makes them formidable, not only in defense, but at the same time also in hunting. The first thing is owls have incredible hearing. They actually call it binaural hearing. And it's funny because they're actually designed, owls have their features, because when you look at them and you're like, they're very different, but turns out the way their head is shaped, it allows them to actually have almost like super hearing. Because as you're about to see, even when they can't see their prey, they utilize this super sense, okay? That they alone, as far as birds, have designed or been designed with. And they take advantage of this incredible superpower. And you're about to see exactly what they do once they employ this superpower. And this is one of those ninja powers that I'm talking about. Take a look at this video.
But his razor-sharp eyesight isn't enough in these conditions. Luckily for the barn owl, she has another superpower in her armory.
So graceful.
Flying blind won't stop her eating. Because although she can't see it, she can hear her prey, even under the snow. The kestrel simply doesn't have what it takes. So how does an owl's extraordinary hearing work? Some owls have ear tufts, but these feathers aren't used for hearing. They're more about communicating mood. In fact, the owl's whole head is designed for listening. Its distinctive round face is shaped like a satellite dish, specifically to detect sound. A ring of stiff feathers channel the sound towards the true ears, which are hidden at the side of the face. Some species of owl have one ear opening higher than the other.
That's a great
This
owl.
unique adaptation allows the owl to work out what height a sound is coming from, as well as the direction. Sound arriving at the left ear before it reaches the right tells the owl it's coming from below. At certain frequencies, an owl's hearing is 10 times more sensitive than ours. This extraordinary skill means this great grey owl can locate its prey even when it's out of sight.
Now tell me that wasn't super fun. Tell me that was not super interesting, right? To watch a bird basically pinpoint its prey under snow or underground. And it's because it's utilizing this superpower, this super hearing is outstanding. And that is a superpower in my book. Very few animals really have superpowers. This owl, or these owls do. And most owls employ this incredible sense, right? And they're able to take advantage of it because, again, in their environment, wherever environment they're in, they're able to adapt. The second superpower that owls actually employ is the ability to be very stealth, to be very quiet. And when I tell you these things are quiet, this thing can fly right next to you and you will not hear it. And obviously, if you know anything about birds, you're about to see a video, you're about to watch a video that will actually break this down and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because I remember the first time I saw this, I didn't believe it. Because you go outside during the day and you hear birds flying, you can hear them, right? Flying through the air, they make noise, they create drag, so you can hear it. I saw this video and I realized that owls actually fly silently. Now this, you think about it in physics, most things that fly through air, because they create drag, they generate some kind of noise, some kind of sound, right? But owls have the ability to not do that. And I mean, don't take my word for it. Just watch this video. And I'm telling you, after you watch this video, you will come out of it with a different kind of respect for this incredible bird. So let's watch this video. That is so awesome.
No, nothing at all. Absolutely quiet.
It's amazing.
But what have the microphones picked up? The decibel waveforms show the sound being generated by the birds in flight. Each spike is an individual wing beat. But with the barn owl, there's almost nothing. Even our array of super-sensitive microphones fail to pick up any sound of Kenza in flight.
And here's the owl doing exactly the same. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'll play it again.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? These creatures, these fascinating, interesting, incredible birds, have superpowers. You just saw a pigeon fly and it was loud. You saw a hawk fly and it was loud. And you actually saw this. These are scientists doing this experiment, right? And you saw an owl coast and literally it didn't even create drag because it's built to, I don't know if you understand this, because most animals, you have very few animals actually employ superpowers. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm actually going to create a series of superpowered animals. But it is absolutely insane because what that means is at night, and one of the reasons, maybe if you've never really encountered an owl, it's not because they're not there. It's because you can't hear them. It might literally fly next to you and you would never know. That's how crazy these birds are. But again, that's why you admire them. That's why you appreciate this, because it goes against physics. It goes against what we know in the natural order. But these birds happen to employ and deploy certain superpowers. And that's why, to me, I do call them ninja owls, because they can do things like that. And again, just to further make my point, stress my point, further get you to understand, I want you to watch this video. As this owl, now if you watch the video, you have to really pay attention. Pay attention from where the owl comes from and how this video ends. Because tell me if this is not a ninja. Watch this video. That is why I call them ninja owls. Because think about it. Hawks have absolutely incredible sight. And this thing was able to creep up and snag an eagle. And snag a hawk. The balls on this thing. Because think about it. It's not like they're that far apart in size. But this thing said, you know what? I can employ something you can't. I can sneak up on you and basically snatch you out of there without you doing anything. And your friend right there is not going to do anything. You saw this video. It took this hawk so fast. This other hawk stood there going, I have no idea what the hell just happened. Ninja owl. And that is why I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for these birds, because they are absolutely fascinating. They are a joy to not only study, but to watch. And I'm telling you, do your own research. There's so much information about owls that you don't know, so much information that I can't even cover when it comes to not only their range, not only what they eat, and like I said, most owls eat creatures. Most owls eat meat, either from mammals or from reptiles to even other birds. So their prey ranges as well. But there's so much about owls that I can't really go into, because this would turn into an hours-long videos. But there's so many videos you can find online. And I know some of you are fascinated right now. Some of you can't believe what you just saw. Some of you want to see more. There's so much information out there. I would highly recommend you do. If this has created some curiosity, go out there and learn yourself some owls. Anyway, thank you for joining me on another fun episode of Animal Tales. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. See you later, guys.